Good morning, guys. Is everything fine with the audio as well as screen? Are you getting the audio, beta? I am doing it, beta. Give me the confirmation regarding this audio as well as video. Is everything fine? You're getting audio as well as screen. Both are good, no, beta? Are you able to read this alcohol, phenols, and ethers lecture number 8? Yeah. Thank you, beta. Thank you for the confirmation. So, if everything is fine, I would like to close the chat box. Right. So if you guys remember in the last class, we were discussing about the chemical. We have started the discussion about the chemical properties of alcohols. Under that, see, alcohols are chemically reactive in nature due to the active function group, that is hydroxy group. What are the chemical properties that are shown by alcohols are due to the presence of OH group, and so these are the characteristic reactions of OH group of alcohols. So as we have seen in the last class, these reactions are classified into basically broadly 3 types: reactions due to cleavage of OH bond, reactions due to cleavage of CO bond, and reactions due to both the bonds. Right, but or we say reactions due to the alkyl group as well as so reactions of alcohols are being classified into 3 types. What are the 3 types of reactions, madam? Right. One is reactions due to cleavage of OH bond, which we have already seen in the last class. Second is what, better? Reactions due to cleavage of CO bond. Right. And reactions involving both alkyl group and hydroxyl groups. So this we've already seen, beta. These are reactions due to acidic nature, beta. Acidic nature of alcohol, which we have seen in the last class. Okay. So in today's class, we'll continue with the what is the second type of reactions, beta? Reactions due to cleavage of CO bond. Cleavage of CO bond. Right, beta? So basically what happens, beta? As you know, alcoholic group will consist this particular, if I write the general formula, what happens here? First of all, the decreasing order of reactivity of alcohols towards CO bond cleavage is basically tertiary alcohols are more reactive, followed by secondary alcohols, followed by primary alcohols, and least reactive is methyl alcohol. So this is order. If you remember, what was the order of decreasing order of reactivity of reactions due to? If you are talking about reactions due to this particular cleavage of OH bond, beta, what was the decreasing order? Methyl alcohol followed by primary alcohol, followed by secondary alcohol, followed by tertiary alcohol. And when you are talking about with respect to this bond, what is the order, beta? Tertiary followed by secondary, followed by primary, followed by least will be methyl alcohol. See what happens here. See basically what happens, sir. Here tertiary will readily undergo reactions due to COH bond cleavage. Secondary will also readily undergo reactions due to OH bond CO bond cleavage, whereas it is very difficult for primary to methyl alcohol to undergo the CO bond cleavage. So what is the reason is that here the rate of this particular reaction will depends upon the degree beta. Okay, rate of reaction is directly proportional to what beta? Branching. Okay, greater the degree, greater will be the tendency of reaction. This is what you are doing. The first reaction, if you are talking about a reaction with hydrogen halides, hydrogen halides. What do you call them? Is HX you call it. See, basically what happens, sir? Alcohols on reaction. Alcohols on reaction with the HX forms corresponding alkyl halide, which is we have already discussed, alkyl halide. Okay, so what is the nature of reaction? This is your alcohol beta. Okay, and this is your HX. Basically what gets eliminated here? HX gets eliminated, sir. It leads to the formation of alkyl halide plus water will be removed. What is this, sir? This is your alcohol, and which is on reaction with what? Hydrogen iodide, hydrogen halide, or hydrohalic acid we call it as. This is your alkyl halide. What it forms? Alkyl halide it forms. See, here rate of reactivity, the decreasing order of reactivity of HX towards alcohols is given beta. See, HI is most reactive, followed by HBr and followed by HCl. Generally what happens? HF is unreactive beta. HF is unreactive. See, here HI is most reactive, HCl is least reactive. Are you getting this? So suppose what happens beta? Here, if you are treating a alcohol with a HI beta, what it will form? See, it directly forms alkyl iodide plus water it will form. Suppose if I take a CH3, CH2OH, if I treat this with HI, what it will form beta? It will form CH3, CH2I plus water it will form. This is your ethyl alcohol. And what does it form beta? It forms ethyl iodide it will form. Ethyl iodide it will form. Right. Suppose if you are treating with alcohol with HBr, this will also form some RBr plus H2O, it will form it without any catalyst or without any reagent. Suppose if I take CH3, CH2OH plus HBr, if I treat, what does it form beta? What does it form, sir? Okay. Here it will form CHDr plus H2O, it will form. But unless otherwise, here it basically what happens in case of suppose if you are talking about if you treat it with HCl beta, here you don't get the reaction. If this is primary or secondary alcohol, here there will be no reaction beta. Why? See, because HCl, since HCl is less reactive, so here you need to use a catalyst beta. What is a catalyst you need to use? So if the alcohol either it is primary or secondary alcohol, then this concentrated HCl must be treated in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride beta. This acts as a catalyst. Now the reaction will take place. It will form what it will form beta? Alkyl chloride it will form. So this combination of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride is called as Lucas reagent. What do you call beta? This is you call Lucas reagent, you call it as. Okay. So what is meant by this? Here if you are talking about the If it is a tertiary alcohol, beta, without a ZnCl2, it will take place. Beta. Without ZnCl2, it will take place the reaction. So when the alcohol is as a primary or secondary, this HCl cannot directly react with a, since it is less reactive. Okay, why it is reacting with tertiary alcohol directly means what is the decreasing order of reactivity of alcohols towards okay, this HX beta. Tertiary is more reactive, followed by secondary, followed by primary. So this is a decreasing order. Since tertiary alcohols are more reactive, even though this HCl is less reactive, they will be directly combined with it. So this is a reason for this. So this is a reason for this. Right. Now, this is a tertiary alcohol. What is this? Tertiary alcohol. What is meant by this? For example, if I take a CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2Cl beta. This is in terms of concentrated HCl. Okay. Followed by what? Anhydrous ZnCl2. So what does it form? CH3, CH2, 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 Cl. Sorry, this is you have to take OH beta. Okay. Plus H2O it will form. Okay. Here, what happens here? Your important thing is that beta. Let me tell you here itself. Let me tell you here itself. The important thing to be noted down is that, see, primary alcohols and reaction with the concentrated HCl and anhydrous ZnCl2, okay, RCl. Okay, what happens beta? Here, no turbidity is formed, okay, even after, or let me write some separately clearly it is that, why to make it as congested. This is very important beta. What is the importance of this Lucas reagent is that, before going for this, let me tell you. Okay, importance of the Lucas reagent. This Lucas reagent is used. Lucas reagent is used to distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. How it is used to distinguish means, see, primary alcohols do not form any turbidity or PPT even after prolonged heating. Whereas secondary alcohols forms a turbidity or PPT, okay, after 5 minutes of heating. After 5 minutes of heating, I've already told you this in the discussion of tertiary alcohols forms turbidity or PPT. Immediately. So what does it mean, sir? Why means if it is your primary alcohol, so if you are treating this with concentrated HCl in presence of anhydrous ZnCl2, this is you call Lucas reagent. Here there is no turbidity or PPT. No turbidity or PPT formed. Here what happens? Whatever the turbidity is there, because that is less reactivity. Because of the less reactivity of so the same concentrated HCl and anhydrous chloride, here it will form secondary chloride. Okay, so here turbidity or PPT, you might be having a doubt what is turbidity or PPT in the sense. See, you might be knowing about the PPT. Whenever you mix two liquid solutions, but if you get any solid substance that you call PPT, if this solid substance is not sufficient, it is only a sort of a viscous solution you get that we call turbid, is formed is formed after 5 minutes. That is due to the formation of alkyl chloride. What is this? This is secondary alkyl chloride. What is this? This is your primary. And if you're talking about the tertiary alcohol, so this is in presence of concentrated HCl, even without zinc chloride also, it will form tertiary chloride, tertiary alkyl chloride, which gives the turbidity immediately. Turbidity or PPT obtained immediately. So this is how you can distinguish what is meant by this. Suppose if I give an alcohol, if I ask you to, what is this alcohol, whether it is primary or secondary or tertiary, if I ask you to identify, what do you have to do, beta? You have to add whatever the alcohol I gave, to that you have to add Lucas reagent. When you add a Lucas reagent to this particular given alcohol, if you get the PPT immediately, that indicates the presence of tertiary alcohol. If you get the PPT after heating of 5 minutes, that will be called secondary alcohol. If you don't get PPT even after heating for a long time, so what is mean by PPT means? Suppose here you are taking alcohol, beta. This is your alcohol. To this you are adding what you are adding, beta? This is your alkyl halide. Sorry, you are adding a Lucas reagent. What you are adding? Lucas reagent you are adding to this. Suppose here if the PPT is being formed, beta, this is your solution. If this is your solution in the sense, you will get the PPT. See, some sort of solid will be obtained. Some sort of solid will be completely obtained like this, or it could also be something like this. What happens, sir? Here you will get a viscous solution. What is a viscous solution? This is we call it turbidity. We call it. Suppose if the solution is something like this, if the solution is something like this, is called turbidity, or this is you call PPT. That is the meaning of turbidity or PPT. Are you getting this? So what is the main application of this Lucas reagent is that it is used to distinguish primary, secondary, tertiary alcohols. How we distinguish means the alcohol which gives immediate PPT is called tertiary. The alcohol which gives PPT after 5 minutes of heating is called secondary. The alcohol which will not give any PPT is called as primary. Why means primary is less reactive, beta. There is no sufficient amount of alkyl chloride will be formed. Secondary will form to some extent of turbidity or PPT, somewhat more reactive than primary. Whereas tertiary alcohol is more reactive, and immediately the reaction gets complete, and all the alcohol will be converted into alkyl chloride. Because of that reason, you will get the PPT. Is this clear, beta? This is a very, very important test. Is this clear? Guys, is this clear? Hope you can raise your hands, isn't it, at least? So let me give some examples, beta. Suppose if I take CH3, CH2, OH plus concentrated HCl in presence of what, beta? Anhydrous ZnCl2. What I'll get? What I'll get, beta? CH3, CH2, Cl plus okay, H2 you will get, beta. This will take place very slowly. If I take a secondary alcohol, that is here, what is this? Concentrated HCl in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride. What it will form? It will form isopropyl chloride. And if I take tertiary butyl, this is your tertiary butyl alcohol. What is this? Tertiary butyl alcohol on reaction with this concentrated HCl, even in the absence of zinc chloride also, what happens? It will converted into tertiary butyl chloride. Are you getting? This is your tertiary alcohol. This is your secondary alcohol. This is your primary alcohol. Are you getting this? Now, one more important aspect is that basically primary alcohols undergo SN2 substitution, whereas secondary and tertiary alcohols undergo SN1 substitution. Or primary alcohols having branch at C2 carbon undergo SN1 beta. This is very important. What is mean by this? This is your SN1 mechanism. This is your SN1 mechanism. This is your SN2 mechanism. Are you getting it? This is an important aspect. So what does it makes a difference is that, okay, SN1 reaction involves formation of carbocation which may undergo what beta? Which may undergo rearrangement. What is mean by this? For example, beta, if I take a CH3, CH3, CH2, OH, if I take beta, if I treat this with concentrated HCl in presence of anhydrous ZnCl2, so this will undergo SN1 mechanism. What happens? Here you will get a product. What is a product you will get? Here you will get a product called, this is your tertiary butyl chloride. What is mean by this? So this is your primary alcohol. Primary alcohol with the C2 branch. This is a first carbon, this is second carbon, it is having a branch. So what happens beta? If you look at the mechanism, what happens here? See the mechanism, what happens beta? First of all, what happens? So this will undergo protonation beta. Oxygen will undergo protonation. This lone pair of electrons will be given to this. By that, what happens? CH3, CH2, OH plus. So your removal of water takes place. So this will lead to the formation of, what does it form? It forms a 1 degree carbocation. This gets rearranged. How beta? 1, 2 hydride shifted under, which we call 1, 2 hydride. This hydrogen will be shifted to here. So that what happens? It will be converted into CH3. CH3. CH3 plus. This is you call 3 degree carbocation. What do you call it? 3 degree carbocation you call it. So this is followed by attacking of Cl minus. What it will form beta? CH3. So CH. This is the meaning of rearrangement. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? Suppose if I take a compound, something like this. So this is your 1 cyclopentyl. What is this beta? Cyclopentyl methanol beta. So if I treat this with a concentrated HCl in presence of anhydrous ZnCl2, what does it form? It forms a compound cyclohexyl chloride forms. How does it form in the sense? Here also the same mechanism. What happens? Directly I am giving the mechanism. So whenever this cyclopentane 1 cyclopentyl methanol. So when it is in presence of HCl, what happens? The removal of water takes place. Break this bond. So this will be removed in the form of water. So this gets converted into carbocation. So this is your first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, sixth carbon. So this is a 1 degree carbocation. So which is less stable. What happens? It undergo a ring expansion. What did it undergo beta? It undergo ring expansion. What happens? This bond will be broken beta. The bond between 1 and 2 will be broken, and it will be converted into So this is your first carbon, this is your third carbon, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is your second carbon. Here you have the positive charge. So which I can write something like this. How can I write? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and second beta. This is your positive charge. So this is your 2-degree carbocation beta, which is more stable. So after this, what happens? Cl minus will attack, leading to the formation of a particular compound like cyclohexyl chloride. This is very important. This is your first reaction beta. Hope it is clear. See, because I've already told you this ring expansion and ring contraction. Hope you guys are having no problem in following it. So this reaction is already discussed beta. This particular reaction we have discussed in the preparation of alkyl halides. If I go a bit faster also, you should cope up with. This is a repetition only. This is only the revision or repetition. Since whatever we discuss here onwards, they are almost all discussed in the methods of preparation of alkyl halides. And the second reaction beta. Second reaction, if I say the second reaction with the phosphorus, okay, trihalides, phosphorus trihalides. See, alcohol will react. 3 moles of alcohol will react with the phosphorus trihalide. Okay, will lead to, this is basically proceed through SN2 mechanism. It will form 3 moles of RX plus He3PO3 it will form. Are you getting this? Here, suppose if I take a CH3, CH2, OH plus PCl3 beta, what I'll get? Take 3 moles of this. Here I get 3 moles of CH3, CH2, Cl plus He3PO3 I'll get, which is we have already discussed beta. Okay. Suppose if I treat this with so these all reactions are being discussed in the preparation of what beta? The preparation of alkyl halides. Right? See, if I take CH3, CH2OH, this is on reaction with phosphorus triad, what it will form? 3 moles of CH3, CH2I plus He3PO3 it will form. This is your one reaction. And the next reaction we say reaction with phosphorus pentachlorides. So what does it form? It forms ROH plus PCl5. It will form RCl plus POCl3 plus HCl. Suppose if I take a CH3, CH2OH plus if I treat this with phosphorus pentachloride, what does it form? This will form right. Reaction with thionyl chloride. Thionyl chloride we say. What is thionyl chloride? So this is you call Darzan's method. Darzan's method of preparation of alkyl chlorides, which is the best method. I've already told you this. See, alcohols on reaction with thionyl chloride in presence of pyridine beta. Pyridine will follow SN2 mechanism, which will form RCl plus SO2, which is a gas. HCl is also gas beta. So here, this is inversion product beta. What do you call? Inversion product you call it. Suppose what I take a CH3, CH2, and one more possibility is that. What is other possibility in the sense? In presence of ether, if you are doing better, what happens? It will follow SNI, it will follow it. Internal nucleophilic substitution reaction, which will form SO2 plus HCl. This is also called, this is the retention product with the retention of configuration, or we say retention product with retention of configuration. So which is we've already discussed detailedly. Are you getting it? Suppose if I take CH3 CH2 OH plus SOCl2 in presence of pyridine, so what it will form beta? CH3 CH2 Cl. This is the best method for the preparation of alkyl chlorides. See beta, this has been already discussed. Everything whatever we have discussing since beginning of the class, all of this has been already discussed detailedly in the methods of preparation of alkyl halides beta, which is our previous chapter. There also I told you we are going to discuss all these methods again. So at least when some topic is already been repeated, so at least there we can go with a little bit faster such that we can cover the topic within the given time. Are you getting? So at the end of the class, I should not hear anything that sir, you went too much fast, you try to be go slow. See, this sort of thing should not become because it has been already discussed. Just a repetition. Instead of that, I should have told you that all this topic has been already discussed and I should have asked you to revise. Even without that, I am discussing it. So some of you guys might have forgotten, or some of you guys might have not didn't get the proper understanding of it there. So once again, I am repeating because instead of saying that you please refer the methods of preparation of alkyl halides, instead of that, I am discussing it. Hope you understand it. The second reaction we call, here it is, the next reaction, what is this beta? The fifth reaction. Fifth reaction we see beta, reaction with the ammonia. Fifth reaction we say, reaction with the ammonia. See what happens here? Again, alcohols on reaction with the alcoholic solution of ammonia. Okay. Alcohols on reaction with alcoholic solution of ammonia when their vapors are passed over heated alumina or thoria. Okay, thiourea is called as thoria beta. Catalyst at 633 to 673 Kelvin. Sorry, 723 Kelvin. Forms a mixture of primary, secondary, and tertiary amines. See what happens here. This is your alcohol beta, which is on reaction with the ammonia. See what happens in presence of alumina or thoria on heating. What happens? It will form RNH2 beta. This is your called primary amine. This primary amine on reaction with one more ammonia. Sorry, one more alcohol molecule. Okay, with the liberation of one more water molecule, this will form, okay, R2NH. This is on reaction with one more alcohol. Okay, one more water molecule will be removed. So this will form R3NH. This is your secondary amine, and this is your tertiary amine. Are you getting this? So for example, if I take a CH3 CH2 OH plus NH3, if I take it, what happens in presence of alumina? Elimination of water takes place. It forms a CH3 CH2 NH3. So this is on reaction with one more ethyl alcohol. So with the removal of water molecule, what it will form? CH3 CH2 taken twice, NH. Okay, this is on reaction with one more alcohol. So what does it? Removal of water takes place. It will form CH3, CH3, CH2 taken thrice N beta. This is ethylamine. What do you call it? Diethylamine. Diethylamine. This is called triethylamine. This is important for us. Right. Now, after this, let me discuss the third type of reactions. Reactions involving both the alkyl group. Up to here, everything has been discussed better. Alkyl group and hydroxyl group. Hydroxyl group. So what is this? The first one, here what is mean by this? Suppose if I take there are several reactions, but the first reaction let me discuss. Okay. Dehydration of alcohols. Dehydration of alcohols. So, what is mean by dehydration? Alcohols on heating in presence of protic acids like concentrated H2SO4 or He3PO4 or we say catalyst like alumina. What is alumina beta? Al2O3 or copper beta or P2O5 followed by heating, etc. There are plenty of reagent beta. Undergo dehydration to form corresponding alkenes beta. And important note is that dehydration of alcohols, according to what beta? According to Sedzoff rule. According to Sedzoff rule. What is mean by this? Dehydration of alcohols follows Sedzoff rule. What is Sedzoff rule? That is most substituted alkene is obtained as a major product. For example, beta, what happens? This is your alcohol beta. So if I heat either in presence of protic acids followed by heating or any reagent such as here you can take H2SO4 or what beta, He3PO4, etc. Or you can take alumina followed by heating or P2O5 followed by heating, or you can take a copper followed by heating. So anything can be taken. What happens? This removal of water takes place. What happens? Loss of water takes place. It forms a corresponding alkene plus water. See what is mean by dehydration? Dehydration means loss of water. What is loss of water? Loss or what we say beta? Loss or removal of water. Removal of water is called as dehydration. Are you getting this? So, for example, beta, if I take a example, if I take a CH3 if I tell you with See, if I take any alcohol, beta, if I take any alcohol, if I treat this with so what is the important note is that the note is that this is a temperature control reduction. So temperature controlled reaction. Okay, nature of product form, nature of product form depends upon the temperature of reaction. For example, see alcohols on reaction with a concentrated H2SO4 at 100 to 110 degrees Celsius forms a or SO3H beta. What it will form? What it will form beta? It forms a alkyl hydrogen sulfate. It will form beta. What does it form, sir? Alkyl hydrogen sulfate. It will form. It forms, sir. Once again. Beta. What does it will form in the sense of RHSO4 it will form. Alkyl hydrogen sulfate it will form. Okay, with the loss of water will take place. But the loss of water it will take place. See how does means if the same reaction is carried out with the concentration H2SO4 at 135 to 140 degrees Celsius, it will form ether beta. What does it will form? Ether it will form. Ether it will form. Okay. At concentrated H2SO4, okay, temperature 170 degrees to 180 or more than 180, okay, or generally what we say, temperature greater than 170 or 180, it will form corresponding alkene beta. Are you getting this? Let me tell you an example beta. If I take a CH3, CH2, OH, okay, I'll take ethyl alcohol. This ethyl alcohol, I'll treat this ethyl alcohol. This is your ethyl alcohol. This is temperature dependent reaction. Why it happens so means, see beta, here it will undergo. This is due to intramolecular dehydration. This is due to intermolecular dehydration. What is meant by intermolecular dehydration? See here what happens if you look at this. Let me tell you this better. Here actually what happens in the first reaction. In the first reaction, what happens? Alcohol plus, okay, what is this better? In the first reaction, what it happens in the sense? Okay. So this elimination will take place. So what does it form? So RO as a double bond OH it will form. Whereas if you take the second one what happens? RO plus OH. Here it will eliminate this particular molecule. What does it form? Ether it will form. So this is intermolecular. And what happens in the second in the sense? In this last case, what happens? It will something like this. intermolecular will take place. Intramolecular will take place. This is your intramolecular. This is your intermolecular. What is this? Intermolecular. Let me tell you here what happens beta here. Here, let me take the detailed discussion here. If you are treating this with so this is your H2SO4 beta. So what happens? This is also type of intermolecular. At what temperature beta? At 110 degrees Celsius. Okay, what as water gets eliminated, it will form CH3, CH2. This is what it will form. Are you getting this? This is ethyl hydrogen sulfate, you call it. Okay, if the same reaction is carried out, CH2OH plus OH CH2 CH3 beta. So this is at 135 to 140 degrees Celsius. So in presence of what beta? Concentrated H2SO4. What happens? Here this sort of reaction will take place. Okay, leading to the formation of CH3 CH2O CH2 CH3 beta. This is a diethyl ether. This temperature is very important. Diethyl ether it forms. Suppose if I take the same compound, so this is your ethane beta. This is your ethane. So if I eat it in presence of concentrated H2SO4, if I make the temperature greater than 170 degrees Celsius, 170 degrees Celsius, so this is what happens. It will form CH2 double bond CH2 plus water it will form. See, this is a ethene it will form it. So this is a intermolecular dehydration. Dehydration. This is intramolecular dehydration. Intramolecular dehydration. Are you getting it? This is very important. This is very, very important. See, one more important thing is that, okay, this intramolecular dehydration of alcohols, okay, involves formation of carbocation which may rearrange, or which may undergo rearrangements. What we say? Which may undergo. What does it mean? Suppose if I take so first of all, let me tell you what is meant by Sirzoff rule beta. The Sirzoff rule includes that. So if I am suggesting this, what is beta? N-butyl alcohol. N-butyl alcohol. So the N-butyl alcohol will generally form two products. What are the two products? Concentrated H2SO4 at a temperature greater than 170 or 180 degrees Celsius. So it has a possibility of forming two products. One will be butene, and one will be but1 beta. This is called but1. So this is major. Why it is major means it is the most substituted. Most substituted means what is mean by beta? It is having two substitutions on double bond. It is having only one substituted. This is the least substituted. Why it is least substituted means here it is having only one substitution. It is having two substitutions on the double bond. Both the double bonded carbons having only one substitution. Only one substitution on double bond. Okay, here two substitution on double bond. So how does it forms in the sense? If you look at the mechanism, in the mechanism what happens? CH3, CH2. First of all, this H2SO4 will dissociate something like this. H plus HSO4 minus. So this what happens? This H plus will attack better. This H plus will attack and removal of water takes place. What does it form, sir? CH3, CH2, CH2 plus it will form it. Okay, this will rearrange. How it will rearrange? One hydrogen will be shifted. 1, 2 hydride shifter. This is the meaning of it. This is a 1 degree carbocation better. What is this? 1 degree carbocation which is less stable, which will undergo rearrangement. So what sort of rearrangement it will undergo in the sense? This is a rearrangement. Okay, here this is your secondary carbocation. Secondary carbocation. So hereafter what happens? This base, the base means here this HSO4 minus, this HSO4 minus either abstract. Suppose this hydrogen can be abstracted from this way or this way. There are two possibilities. What are the two possibilities in the sense? See here, there are two possibilities. Either so this hydrogen or this hydrogen has to be removed. Suppose if you get remove this hydrogen, you will get a product. What will you get better? Here you will get a CH3, CH2, CH2 double bond CH. This is a but 1 in beta. Suppose if this hydrogen gets converted, suppose if this hydrogen goes removed beta, what happens? Here you will get a product. What is the product? CH3, CH double bond, CH3. This is you call but 2. So this is your Set-Jobs product. What is this? Set-Jobs product. So this is the meaning of it. Are you getting it? Suppose if I give a compound like this, CH3, okay, CH3, CH2, okay. Here I heat it in the presence of concentrated H2SO4. What I get better? At 170 degrees or temperature greater than 170 degrees, what happens? Here I get two products. What are the two products? This is your major beta. And what about the minor? This is your minor product. How does it happen? It does happen, sir. Every time it is not possible to discuss the mechanism, but for 1 or 2 reactions, I will show you the mechanism, and the rest you should understand. And the rest you should understand. What you have to do whenever these type of reactions are given, first you need to remove the hydroxy group in the form of what better? Water. And you have to generate a carbocation. You have to generate a carbocation on the carbon to which this hydroxy group is attached. See beta, here I am generating. I am removing this in the form of water. See, this has been removed in the form of water. Beta. This has been removed. This has been removed in the form of water, and here I have generated the positive charge. So this has been lost in the form of what? Beta? In the form of water. So what does it has formed? Does form 1 degree carbocation. So now how it can be stabilized? Beta? Here it will undergo 1, 2 hydride shift. So how does it form? It forms a CH3, CH3, CH3. Now this hydrogen goes there, and here comes a positive charge. Now it has become secondary carbocation. So here it has a possibility. Here it still has an advantage. If this methyl group go from here to here, this is 1, 2 methyl shift, you call it. what do you call? Now you will get a compound something like this: CH3, okay, CH3 plus, okay, CH3, CH3 beta. This is your 3-degree carbocation. 3-degree carbocation, which is most stable. Now, here afterwards, you have two possibilities. What are the two possibilities in the sense? Either you may remove this hydrogen or you may remove this hydrogen. The base will abstract. The base will abstract. The base will abstract the two possibilities are. What are the two possibilities? If I shift this hydrogen here, beta, here what happens? This HSO4 minus will abstract. H2SO4 will be last. Beta. So what you will get? One possibility is that. Okay, when I am removing this one, okay, what you will get? Beta? CH3 double bond, CH3. What is the other possibility? Suppose if I am shifting this, so I will get the second path. What is the second path? Here also the same thing will happen, beta. This HSO4 minus will remove that proton and loss of H2SO4 will take place. This will form CH2, CH3, okay, CH3. This is the most substituted, okay, major, and what do you call it? Sedzoff's product you call. Sedzoff's product. This is you call least substituted, minor, we call it as. See, let me tell you the way of asking this type of questions. If I frame a question better, suppose if I give alcohol, something like this, if it is being subjected to concentrated H2SO4 followed by heating a temperature greater than 170 degrees Celsius. So here A comes. Identify A better. Identify A here. What is A here in the sense? You will be having options. The option something like this. You will be having an option something like this. Option something like this. And option something like this. And option something again. Something like this. So what is the answer for this type of, in the objective point of view, these type of questions are mostly encountered. The answer for this particular question is this one. How it comes, if you look at, let me tell you the mechanism. So what happens here? See, whenever this alcohol in presence of H plus, what happens? Protonation takes place, loss of this water will take place. This will be removed in the form of water. So you have to generate a carbocation, which is immediately on the carbon to which it is attached. This will undergo ring expansion. Beta. What is the way of undergoing ring expansion? So this will undergo ring expansion. This is a sort of rearrangement. What happens? This bond will be shifted in. What happens? This is we call ring expansion. We call it as. What do you call it? Ring expansion. We call it. See, 5-member ring is becoming a 6-member ring. Ring expansion from C5 to C6. So what happens, beta? Here you will get a particular cation, something like this. So this is your first carbon, third carbon, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is your second carbon, beta. Here you get a positive charge, which is nothing but something like this. I can write it as in this way also. This is your second, first, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Where do you have the positive charge? Here you have the positive charge. Where does it have? Here you have the positive charge. So what happens, sir? This particular compound. Okay, either you remove this hydrogen in presence of HSO4 minus. What happens, beta? H2SO4 will be last. So it will be finally converted into this particular compound. What is this? This is your cyclohexene, we call it. What is this, sir? Okay, cyclopentyl methanol. Cyclopentyl methanol, you call it as. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? So this is the objective point of view. This particular reaction is very, very important. If I want to tell you more, okay. See, a rate of dehydration of alcohols is directly proportional to stability of carbocation. Stability of carbocation. Or we can also say rate of dehydration of alcohol is directly proportional to stability of resultant alkene. Formed by dehydration. See, what does it mean in the sense? So basically, rate of dehydration decreases from tertiary to secondary, secondary to primary alcohols. Right. So if I ask you a question, beta, which of the following is readily undergo dehydration? Which of the following will readily undergo dehydration? Here I give different alcohols. See, this is your tertiary alcohol. This is your secondary alcohol. This is your primary alcohol. This is also your primary alcohol. Which is most readily undergo? This one will most readily undergo. Okay. If I give the one more question, see. Arrange the following compounds according to their increasing order of rate of dehydration. What is mean by this? Suppose if I give, so this is the one alcohol. Let me take one. Second, I'll take. So this is your second beta. And third, I'll take. So this is your third. See beta, here you will be given some options like 1, 2, 3. Increasing order is given. So increasing order is something like this. What are the orders? Okay. This is first option. This is second option. Right. This is your third option. D is okay. Something like this. So what is the correct order means? This is your correct order. Why? See, if this undergo dehydration, if this particular undergo dehydration, it will form cyclohexane. Okay, this will form cyclohexadiene, and this will form benzene. It will form it. This will form benzene. Are you getting this? What happens? There's some sort of removal of water here. Here's some sort of removal of water. And here's some sort of removal of water. See here, if you're talking about so decreasing order of stability of alkenes, the resultant alkenes. So this is most stable beta, followed by this is followed by this is. See, I've already told you, rate of dehydration is directly proportional to What I told you, but rate of dehydration is directly proportional to stability of resultant alkane. So you may ask why it is more stable, means this is aromatic compound, beta. Why it is more stable? Aromatic. This is conjugated, beta. This is conjugated, and this is a non-conjugated. So aromatic are more stable than conjugated, which is more stable than non-conjugated. See, benzene is an aromatic compound. Generally, we know that aromatic compounds are most stable. Are you getting this? So because of that reason, the rate of dehydration so increases from 1 to 2, 2 to 3 beta. 1 to 2, 2 to 3 beta. Is that clear? Is that clear, beta? This is about the rate of dehydration we call. Based on this, you will get n number of questions, beta. Based on this, you will get n number of questions. I will try to discuss 1 or 2 questions. So I would like to conclude the today's class here itself, beta. I'll open the chat box. Those who have the doubts can stay, and those who don't have the doubts can leave the class. Right? So ask. I'll do the scrolling part, beta. I'll scroll up and down. Don't worry. The scrolling part will be done. Please go on asking your doubts. Sanjana, because that is your lack of awareness of GOC, beta. Sanjay, if you are feeling difficult in organic chemistry, that is because of the lack. Beta, whenever you don't have the foundation properly, see, Anaga, this is the simple criteria is that, beta, as long as the stability goes on increases, there is a possibility of rearrangement, beta. It is simple like that. Suppose if you have got into a bus where is a full crowd is there, you don't have a chance of sitting. So what you will do, you will go by standing. After a while, if you get a seat, any corner, you will sit it. So after a while, if you get a seat at window, you get rearrange yourself from less comfort to the more comfort. That is what the principle involved in the rearrangement of carbocation. This carbocation will try to stabilize by itself. See, turbidity and PPT both are same in the sense. Turbidity and PPT are both are not exactly same, beta. There is a slight difference. See, PPT can be filtered out. Turbidity cannot be filtered out, beta. So turbidity is sort of viscous solution. PPT is a clear solid. That is the difference between the turbidity and the PPT, beta. Prashmi, as well as I told you, who's this Tejaswini, the difference between the turbidity, I've already told you, the turbidity will be sort of something like this, beta. What is the turbidity? See, if this is your beaker, beta, so here you have taken water in it. So if it has any PPT, the solid will completely settle. Solid will completely settle at the bottom, beta. This is you call PPT, beta. If it is completely settled at the bottom, this is you call PPT. Instead of settling at the bottom, suppose if these particles are not enough to settle at the bottom, they are continuously displacing all over the solution. This is we call turbidity, beta. This is you call turbidity, and this is you call precipitate, beta. This is the difference between the turbidity and precipitate. So the least step, that is the same, beta. Hoffman product, these are all same as that of the dehydrohalogenation, beta. No, we don't observe any sort of that things, beta, here because we don't have any bulky base here. So always it follows without any exception. Annapurna, here dehydration will always follow Sedgwick rule without any exception. Conjugated means whenever there are alternative 5 bond, beta. Okay, presence of alternative 5 bonds. Alternative 5 bonds is called as conjugation. Right, beta. See, how to identify Ranju, how to identify intermolecular and intramolecular means. If it is intramolecular, you will get alkene, beta. If it is intermolecular, based on the temperature, you need to identify, beta. Ranju, whether it is intermolecular, you need to identify based on the temperature. If temperature is 140 degrees Celsius, that will undergo intermolecular dehydration. If the temperature is greater than 170 or 180 degrees, it will undergo intramolecular. Okay, I'm saying if temperature is equal to 140 degrees Celsius, intermolecular dehydration. If temperature is greater than 170 degrees, it's intramolecular dehydration with concentrated H2SO4 beta. This is how you have to identify. Ranju, is that clear? See, if I shift hydrogen, I say hydroxide beta. If I shift methyl, I say methyl shift. See, if you look at here, see if you look at it here, I'll tell you here. See, here I am shifting hydrogen I am shifting. One hydrogen is being shifted from here to here beta. See here two hydrogens, here two hydrogens. Now I made here one hydrogen, here three hydrogen. Since I have shifted H minus, I call it as 1, 2 hydride shift. And if you look at here beta, now here I have shifted a methyl group beta, where here I have shifted a methyl group. From here to here I have shifted a methyl group. So hence I call it as methyl shift. Is that clear? Yeah, both diluted. Ismail, diluted H2SO4 is hydrating agent. Concentrated H2SO4 is dehydrating agent. Ismail, समझ में आया कि क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Dilute H2SO4 is hydrating. Concentrated H2SO4 followed by heating is dehydrating. Chinmay, is that clear, beta? How to name that? I think I've taken enough questions. I've taken all the questions, sir. Let me scroll it down up and down, beta. From beginning, I'll come. Take the screenshots wherever you need. But what is the difference between inter and intramolecular means? If elimination of water takes place within a single molecule, that is called intra. By combination of two alcohol, if you remove one water molecule, that will call inter. Within from one molecule only, if one water molecule is getting eliminated, we call it as intra. By the combination of two alcohols, if you are removing one water molecule, that is called inter. Is that clear, Anaga? From single molecule, one water molecule, intra. From two alcohol, one water molecule, inter. Yeah, I'll tell you. Wait. I'll tell you. Wait. I'll at the end of the session, I'll tell you. With an example, I'll tell you better. Yeah, sure, beta. Sure. I'll send you the previous year board exam questions in the group also. I'll do it, beta. I'll do it. No problem. See, look at beta here. Those who are having any doubt for inter and intramolecular, see beta here, one water molecule has been lost by the combination of two ethyl alcohols. See, from the combination of two ethyl alcohol, I have removed one water molecule. Beta. Are you getting this? Here, from within one ethyl alcohol, I have removed one water molecule. This is intra and this is inter beta. This is a difference. Chinmay and Abhya. Chinmay, is that clear beta? If you combine two alcohol and remove one water molecule leading to the formation of ether, that is you call intermolecular dehydration. Within a single molecule, if you are removing both hydrogen and see, from one alcohol we have removed hydroxy group beta, from other alcohol we have removed hydrogen. So this is we call inter. So that's all for today, beta. See you tomorrow. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.